Hello, I'm Semily Sherry, and in this video I wanted to answer a question that I'm often asked, which is, how do I know when it's my intuitive voice speaking or when it's just me? And the simple, easy answer to that is I can't tell you exactly, because wonderfully we are all unique, and therefore you will receive your intuition and recognise your intuition in a way that isn't exactly like I do or like anyone else does, in fact. So that's the first thing to know, that your response to your intuition and the way you receive that intuition will be unique to you. The most important thing, I think, particularly when you're starting out, is I tell people not to worry at first whether it is your intuition or not, whether it's right or not, whether it's accurate or not. Just don't worry about that. Just allow it to flow. So use all your senses. Pay attention to everything you see, you hear, you sense, you feel, you taste, you smell. Just use all your senses. Get used to using them really, really strongly and effectively. Strain your ears, notice every sensation in your body. Your body, by the way, is your greatest instrument. It often gets forgotten in spirituality, but we've been given a body for a reason, and it does respond. It tells us when things are right, when things are not right. So you need to listen to your body. That's very important. So first of all, when you start, don't judge, don't censor, don't try to interpret, just use all your senses, notice every little thing, get used to looking as you're working, as you're walking, as you're having fun. Just notice everything about everything. That's very important as a starting point. And then, as I said, I think recognising your intuitive voice then becomes more of a sensation, more of a feeling. So you probably will get physical symptoms. For example, when I first started hearing my intuition, in fact still now, I get a sort of cold shiver, a kind of goosebumpy feeling down the back of my neck. And it's very interesting that often this will happen in readings when I'm saying something that I know is important and that is accurate. And often the client or the person I'm reading for will say, "Oh, I felt that as well." So yes, watch for physical sensations. So perhaps a tickling at the back of the neck, that's what happens to me. Or also it would often feel like someone had a feather and was kind of brushing a feather across the bridge of my nose. So yeah, anything like that. Listen to your body and feel into what you're sensing. So the reaction, the way you receive that intuition is going to be unique to you. But I can give you some pointers, general ones. There's that sensation, like I said, you might find that you get cold shivers or the air temperature seems to change when your intuition or spirit is talking to you. The other thing is, there will always be a feeling of certainty, peace, calm, very positive emotions. Whereas if it's your lower mind or your ego talking, that will usually maybe unsettle you a little bit, make you feel a bit jumpy, probably a little bit fearful as well. So your intuition, your higher self talking to you, is always positive. It always feels warm and open. You feel relaxed. It's kind of inviting. Whereas your ego self will always try and restrict you. There's something limiting about your lower mind talking, your ego talking. It will restrict you, it will put you on edge, you might feel defensive about yourself. That's not there with your intuitive or spiritual voice, because that is always in your best interest. It has your best interests at heart. So that's probably the most important thing to remember. And then as you go along, some tips that I found very useful is certainly in the beginning when I wasn't trying to immediately decide whether something was accurate or not. I just wrote everything down. So I would keep a journal and I'd write the date, and whatever it was I noticed or smelt or heard, I would write that down, and perhaps the kind of idea that I had about it. And then later you can go back and check in your diary and see maybe if something happened or if there was some relevance. So it helps you. It's also very encouraging because you realise that you get more intuition and intuitive insights than you think when you can look back on them. The other thing that I found very useful was to use Google. I love the internet. I love Google. And so even if I received an intuitive, and maybe I noticed a shape or I heard a word that sort of had a meaning or a resonance with me, I would just write it down at first, and then if I didn't understand it, I would Google it. I still do that now. I'll put it into Google and just see what comes up. And it's amazing how you can link that then to something that's going on in your life. And it's also a very good way of learning as well, spiritually, as you go along. So I think that's about it for now. So the most important thing is, don't give yourself a hard time about it. Don't worry about being right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. Your response is unique. And as you practice, as you gain confidence, you'll find out exactly what that is. And I wish you very well. Thank you.